How's Jaylen doing? Is he able to practice yet, or what's the latest on his hand?
It's getting better. He wasn't able to practice today, but he was out there for everything, and still no restrictions, heading into game one.
Does he have a target date for when to practice later this week, or is it just a day by day?
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
One of those days.
How's Marcus doing? I know he's out with a bunch of ailments this year. Is this week kind of like a recovery for him, or is he ramping up?
No, he was good. He's ramped up. He was great today in practice, lively. Said he felt good, so he'll be ready to go.
How do you kind of look at your rotations not going to the playoffs? You got some strong contributions from Mike and Sam, a lot of guys in the front court late in the year. How do you kind of assess everything you thought?
It just depends on the matchup. Obviously, when we're fully healthy, it's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, one of the things, this roster was built on depth and the ability to play different ways. And so we all have to be prepared to play a role in a series. It could be long. And all those guys have to be ready to play a role. Us. Offense, defense, special situations, game management. What's it look like when we're at our best? What's it look like when we're not at our best? How do we navigate that? How do we work through it?
Joe, the defensive ratings this year are about 4 points higher than they were last year. What caused the defense, even the best defenses, to give up so many points this year?
I think more threes. I think just a shot quality from teams. I think teams trying to play faster. I think teams making an emphasis on offensive rebounding and forcing turnovers.
Did the take foul rule change impact much?
I don't think so. I don't think we really had that much of an issue with it. It maybe happened like 2 or 3 times throughout the year, but I don't think so.
So the last few playoff runs, you've gotten credit a few times for game plan.
I didn't get that during the regular season when our defense was 22nd.
Well, you had done the coaching, right? So, looking ahead to this playoff run, do you feel like for a rookie coach more prepared to manage a series just because you've had a few really successful ideas in the past?
I mean, it's definitely helped. I feel prepared because of the roster we have, the team that we have. I feel prepared because of the coaches that I work for. Brad and Ime have done a great job in playoff settings. And so I feel that preparation just from those 2 situations. And as big as this is, I still think it comes down to the most simple details. Through all those playoff series that I've been in, as much as it was about sub-patterns and matchups, it was also about not sending guys to the free throw line, slipping back in transition, getting more shots than your opponent, rebounding the basketball. All those things, I think, you have to do the little things at a higher intensity while being ready to adjust.
What are some of the things you picked up for them or things that they talked to you specifically about the keys for managing a playoff run? Because it's like so different.
The coaches or the players?
Like Brad and you guys.
I think just having a plan, executing that plan, and then having 2 or 3 adjustments. And then how do you save and how do you manipulate points? It's something that we talked through today. There's a lot of points out there to be had in special situations and the game management and the quarter management, something that we've kind of talked about all year around a bigger scale. And so how do you just manipulate points? How do you save points? How do you steal points? How do you steal 5 minutes here with a lineup? Or how do you have a role player make an adjustment on a series? So all those little things kind of go into it.
You guys have a couple different ways you guys can start games based on the depth you have. At this point, not knowing your opponent, do you know what you want to do already, or is that going to be partially based on the matchup?
Yeah, I think just because of our team and our depth, I know exactly what we want to do. We've done it all year. We've been really good at it. I think it's important that you empower that and at least start that way. And I think that's what gives us the best chance to win. So definitely know what we want to do. At the same time, we have to be ready to adjust. And at the other time, because we have so much depth, we can give a couple different looks throughout a series or a game, and we just have to be ready to do that.
Joe, the other night you mentioned throughout this season you've reached out to other coaches or leaders kind of looking for advice in how they manage things. Who are some of those people?
I can't tell you.
At all?
No.
Anyone who's stood out or made a large impact?
I got to keep them under the radar. They can't get any of the credit.
I know that's not what you mean. Are they in all sports? Is it all basketball?
I think it's cool to learn from different sports. So obviously, you learn from the coaches in this league in itself. And so I've watched a lot of late game situations, and there's a lot of coaches doing a lot of really good things. And so it's definitely in basketball, and then just other sports in general, how they manage winning championships, how they manage teams, how they manage a long season, how they manage losing. And I think just trying to learn from everybody, because you're in all of those situations all the time. And so just trying to get as much wisdom as you can in those environments.
being in the position you are, can you just call people up or get a number?
That part's kind of cool, yeah, you kind of can. And that's why I don't want to give up the names. But I'm grateful for that, to where the resources have been available because of the situation that I'm in, and it's kind of helped me grow as a person, and I think that's important.
Blink once if one like Barack Obama.
It's not Barack
I'm
Obama.
kidding.
I wouldn't waste his time.
You've talked about the matchups. How have you kind of balanced, all right, we're going to do what we do best, or we're going to kind of try to match up if another team's going bigger, if another team's getting on the boards? Like, how have you kind of found that line between?
Yeah. I err on the side of doing what we do best and do it better first, because that's the identity we created, that's the confidence that we created, and that's kind of who we are as a team. So I think it's important to try and do what we do it better. But the biggest thing is when, because of this season, us not being healthy throughout the year, our guys have always stepped in, but it's all looked the same. And so even when it's playing a different lineup, our identity doesn't change on both ends of the floor. And that's a credit to our guys constantly being ready to play and constantly ready to step into different roles, as we don't usually miss a beat on the things that we emphasize on a daily basis. And that's a credit to our team for that. And that allows us to kind of do some different stuff.
When it comes to the defense in the playoffs, more tends to get allowed. What would that do for your guys, especially the perimeter guys, Marcus, guys who like being physical?
Yeah, I think we just have to be able to execute. And so whatever that looks like on the offensive end, how we go about doing that, we have to execute. And then on the defensive end, we have to bring a different level of physicality because we know that's the case. And so I think just finding that balance and being ready to execute regardless of the circumstances, recognize the coverage. Defensively, can we be the more physical team?
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it.